Hello and welcome to Recruiting in Hospitality from Caterer.com. As ever, I'm Lancelot Narayan, and as you know, in each programme, we invite top names from the world of hospitality to discuss matters affecting employers. So, recruitment, development, retention, all that good stuff, as well as other matters affecting you and your teams. Now, at Caterer.com, we are very proud and excited. I know it's an overused word in PR terms, but we are very excited to have partnered with a new initiative called, kind of new initiative called Choose Hospitality. Now, I could sit here and I could tell you all about it, but you really don't want to hear me bang on, do you? You don't have to answer that. What I'll do instead is introduce you to one of the founders of Choose Hospitality. She's editor at Chef Publishing. Please say hello to Claire Bosi.
Hello. How are you?
Hello, Claire.
Hello. Thank you
Good
very
to
much
talk to
for
you.
having me on.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Great to have you.
we've had a few technical issues this morning, but we got there in the end.
We always get there in the end. We deliver for the industry. That's what we do.
Always.
And nothing's going to stop us.
Too right.
Should we start with the basics, Claire? What is Choose Hospitality and how does it actually help the industry?
So Choose Hospitality, you're right. We launched it in autumn last year. And what it is it will come as no surprise to anybody watching this that it's becoming more and more difficult to entice, attract, and inspire young people to look at hospitality as a rewarding career choice. Yet, all the people who currently work in hospitality know how fantastic it is. And there's a definite disconnect between what we all know the industry can offer in terms of opportunities and jobs and travel and careers and development. We all know that they're there, but the messaging is not getting in front of young people for a number of different reasons. It's not getting in front of young people. So, it's in the entire sector's interest to promote hospitality as a career choice. So we came up with this initiative. It actually took 3 weeks to find the most simple name. We went backwards and forwards through so many different names. In the end, I was getting quite frustrated. And I said, look, all we want to do is to get people to choose hospitality. There it is. It's always right.
Ta-da!
Yeah. And it kind of had that kind of train spotting, wham, kind of choose life, choose love kind of thing. And we wanted, critically, we wanted it to be current and inviting and inspiring and fun and dynamic. So we spoke to a lot of operators and owners and chefs out in the industry. We had some incredible supporters. Gordon supported us, Tom Kerridge supported us, chefs in front of house and wine specialists throughout the industry supported us to help get these messages across to young people.
I mean, I know you sort of got over how it actually happened, but I've thought the same thing for many years. As long as I've been working with Caterer.com, I've thought that. So why don't people stand on tables and shout about how great the industry is? I do this, but what actually inspired you to actually get up and do it? Was this something that really sort of pushed you, not over the edge, but you know what I mean?
Almost over the edge. I'm
Almost.
from a hospitality background. In my peers, my friends, my colleagues are all in hospitality, and I was finding it very frustrating. And equally, my daughter is 17. She was 16 when we started putting this together, and I found that when I actually are with her and her friends and I talk about hospitality and I say, well, what about this, what about this, you can go to, they listen, and and the things that they hadn't really thought about with hospitality suddenly made sense. And you kind of go, well, if it's working in a small group on a small scale, it can work on a larger scale. And this is what we need, is to drive these young people into hospitality because they want to, not because they feel that they have no other options. They need to choose it as their career path.
You can't think about something you don't know about.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's about getting that message across. So with Choose Hospitality, what kind of resources do you have? What's available?
So we are approaching Choose Hospitality from as many angles as we can. So on the website, Choose Hospitality website, there's lots of information about different jobs in hospitality. So it's everybody always thinks chef, front of house. Well, actually, there's PR, there's marketeers, there's all sorts. There's consultants,
Accountancy.
there's that accountancy, and thousands of if you look at the ecosystem that is hospitality, there are pretty much if there's a young person out there who really likes spending all of their time making TikTok films or Instagram films or being on social media, there's a job for you in hospitality. Definitely, there's a job for you in hospitality. So it's kind of getting these messages out to young people. It's not just the traditional front of house and kitchen. There's a whole swathe of jobs out there. So we have this information on the site. We produce a digital magazine which is available for anybody because equally, although we target a lot of our work towards young people, there are career swaps too. There are people that go, do you know what? I'm really fed up of 9 to 5 in an office. I want to try something different. So the career swaps, people coming back off paternity or maternity leave, job shares, there's all sorts of different people that we're trying to attract into Choose Hospitality. Yes, we focus a lot on the young people, but also we haven't forgotten everybody else as well. And then we've produced a whole load of films. So we did 3 launch films initially, which had millions of views and went all over social. And they had our kind of ambassadors on there. So we had all these great chefs and people that gave up their time to say why you should choose hospitality.
You mentioned a few names earlier. Who else have you got? Who else is involved in these?
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. There are so many. The best thing to do is look at the choosehospitality.co.uk. So Gordon Ramsay was on it, James Martin was on it, Tom Kerridge was on it, the restaurant team from the Hand and Flowers was on it, independent operators, and a great couple who've got a cafe called Red Cup Cafe in Harrow. They were on it. Ben Murphy, who's just won National Chef of the Year, he was on it, and his team. So a whole load of people on it, and it was lovely to see their reaction, because when you're working, it's quite often you're kind of head down, you're getting on with it, and you're focused on your work, and when you see this kind of collaboration of people come together and go, yeah, this is hospitality, it really just gives you that kind of really special feeling. So those initial 3 films, and then we decided that actually it's quite nice to have a regional support. So I knew that Andy Street, who is the mayor of Birmingham, is really passionate about his hospitality area and Birmingham and the wider Midlands. And in fact, Birmingham's got some incredible independent restaurants. It's got a really diverse kind of food scene there, and it's incredibly busy and attracting more and more people. So we decided after film number 3 to choose Brum, which was absolutely brilliant. So we went out in Birmingham and we filmed a whole load of people in Birmingham, and because it's the I think the youngest in terms of people who live there in cities in Europe, they've got the youngest population. So Birmingham, in particular for young people, has got great places to live, and so we showcased Birmingham. But the nice thing about that was we managed to include Andy Street, the mayor, at the very end of it. Not as a big part. He just said, choose hospitality, but most importantly, choose Birmingham. And what that has then given Choose Hospitality is Andy and the hospitality workforce in the Midlands are super proud of it. So it starts to get shared among different audiences, and in particular, this one is going to be used in job centres across the West Midlands for. If somebody comes in for a job and they haven't thought about hospitality, they can watch this film and go, well, actually, I didn't know that I could do social media, and maybe, and so our plan with the films now is to move. Manchester's our next target, is to move through the country or the countries and make regional Choose Hospitality films, because at the end of the day, like we said at the very beginning, how great it is. I know how great it is, but we need to get the messages out in front of people who aren't necessarily in hospitality, in particular parents. Um, and that's the way we see we doing it now. And so the films are available, and then next year we have a plan to do some positively disruptive school assemblies. So we want to take quite well-known or very well-known chefs back to school, back to their school, and take over a school assembly. And it will be very loud. It will be very fun. There'll be a little bit of a quiz, a little bit of competition. We're going to encourage the kids to bring their phones, because if they have their phones, they'll do TikToks, they'll do Insta. That's what we need. And we're going to do some disruptive school assemblies just to get these young people to understand the energy the sector has and how much it can deliver personally and professionally as well. We are made up. I know I'm biased. We are made up of the best people.
That's a brilliant idea. The
Yeah,
school assemblies, I can see them now. That's going to be so much
yeah.
fun for them. I mean, these are brilliant initiatives, and I don't know why people haven't done this before or thought of doing it. But to go back to the root cause, why why do you think fewer young people are actually considering a career in hospitality, particularly at this time?
I think I think there are a number of factors. I think that historically the sector has been labelled as low pay, long hours, slightly bullying environment, where it's couldn't be further from the truth right now.
Yeah.
Um, I think that, home economics, dropping out of school a million years ago, hasn't helped. I think teachers aren't as informed as they could be, which is why we try to do a lot with teachers. I think that culinary education and hospitality education has had funding ripped out from it over the last few years. So those courses are few and far between, and also there aren't enough chef lecturers or front of house lecturers out there. And I think that, parents of young people today are still thinking that hospitality is the hospitality of old. So they're thinking that their little Johnny or Susie is going to go somewhere where they're going to get bullied, they're going to get paid very little, um, and they're going to work super long hours, where it couldn't be further from the truth. So I think that, the reason young people aren't choosing it today is because there's so much misinformation about the sector, and that needs to be addressed and changed. And that's what we're trying to do with Choose Hospitality. Because I do see that once you get a young person into a job, we kind of speak to chefs as well. If you have a pub or a restaurant or a cafe or a bistro or whatever, and there's a 16-year-old that comes in just to earn pocket money to do washing up, talk to them,
Mm.
include them, inspire them, because they may be thinking at that point of time, I want to go and study geography. But actually, once you get into the environment, a good environment of hospitality, they might go, well, actually, I'm quite enjoying what I'm doing, and then reconsider and move into hospitality. So it's this whole process. But I believe why young people aren't choosing hospitality is misconceptions of the industry of old.
Yeah, yeah. What else do you think um, we can do as a sector to really showcase what a great place it is to? I mean, hospitality, to really put it out there, and how many opportunities there actually are. What more can be done by other people?
Yeah, I mean, I think that by, like I said before, by an employer or a chef or a restaurant manager or a sommelier really embracing every single person that comes through those doors that is even considering working in hospitality, whether they're doing it for 5 hours a week on a Saturday or they want a full-time job. I think by being involved with things like Choose Hospitality, by showing the really friendly element of hospitality, by talking about the opportunities that are available to anybody who studies, and the longevity, and the development that you can have in your own career path, and by getting in front of young people and having, and whether a business owner or an operator, a chef or front of house, whether they they talk to 4 people or whether they talk to 400 people at a conference, It's just getting those messages across and taking the time. And I know that times are tough for everybody, and time isn't available for everybody. But like I always say, and we've got to play to our own strengths, and our strengths are communication, and we need to communicate the messages across, and and it has to be a collaboration of the entire sector. It can't just be, it can't just be a handful of people. We all need to essentially have this meaningful dialogue with people all the time about the sector.
Do you think employees could be doing more?
Yeah, I do. I mean, in terms of a new recruit coming into a business, there's no reason why they can't point them in the direction of Choose Hospitality. We're a social media platform, we're a website, we've got publications, we're there to support, we're there to advise. We have lots of students that contact us that go, oh, I don't suppose there's any chance you could put me in touch with so and so because I want to go and work in their kitchen. And of course we do that. Of course we do that. So yeah, so I think employers can point young people in the way of Choose Hospitality. I think giving recruits an opportunity to develop, helping them, sit down with them. If it's a full-time member of staff, sit down with them once a month, have a notebook each, say, what have you learned this month? Where do you think your weaknesses are? Where can we help you improve? And vice versa. Have real meaningful dialogue, and give young people or new recruits into hospitality a chance to feel some power, and feel respected, and feel like that they can grow within that organization or that company that they've joined.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's, I mean, everything you've said just sounds fantastic. It really does. I mean, you've touched on things that you've got coming up. Are you going to be ongoing? Have you got more ideas? But I get the impression
Yeah.
you're never off.
No, never.
You've got ideas bubbling up,
Yeah.
So what do you want to do next
Well, I
with
mean,
Choose Hospitality?
you would be absolutely bonkers to think that the recruitment crisis can be solved overnight. It can't. And it can't. And the hospitality sector, it needs this positive vision forever. I hope Choose Hospitality continues to grow and grow and grow. I was on a press trip a couple of weeks ago in Canada, and I was in Montreal, and I was talking to some chefs in Montreal, and I said, oh, as we all do, hey, how's your kitchen? Have you got enough staff? And they're facing the same issues over in Canada as we're facing here. So I showed them Choose Hospitality, and they went, we're so doing that. We're so going to do that in Canada, because
Wow.
they can see how important it is. So we Choose Hospitality is infinite. There are loads more things that we want to be doing. There are loads more things that we can do. What hospitality isn't, I believe, what hospitality isn't is standing at a career fair in a grey suit with a little sign saying, have you thought about being a chef? That's not what we're about. That is really not what we're about. We're way more
Yeah,
exciting than that. And I think that how the industry presents itself to possible people coming to work in the industry is really, really important. So I'm not saying that we would never be at a career fair, but we would certainly be making a noise if we were at one. Because that's the nature of the type of people that work in it. We're slightly maverick. We like to have fun. We like to work hard. We like to progress, help each other, and that's what we want to get across. So no, I don't see Choose Hospitality going away anytime soon.
brilliant. Okay, good. So if people want to get involved, give us all your contact details.
Yeah, so the most direct way is come to Instagram, look at Choose Hospitality. It's always me on the DMs. You'll always get me on the DMs. So DM, or you can drop a message through the website. Like I said, fixing this recruitment crisis has got to be a collaboration. It's not as simple as throwing a few placards in front of people. It's way more effort than that. We've got to fix this for our sector, which means we need to put effort in. And anybody who's done well in hospitality knows you don't do anything without effort and determination. So it has to be a collaboration. We welcome everybody from every part of the sector to get in touch with us and say, what can we do? How can we help? What do you want us to say? And that's what it has to be. So do you know what, even though it's a lot of work, I find it really exciting. And I find it really exciting taking it forward at what we can do. And I'd like to think that in a few years' time, when a kid is in school choosing their options, they go, oh my goodness, I really want to do this, I really want to do that, because they see how valuable the careers are.
Terrific. I'm honestly, I really look forward to see what happens next, and
Yeah.
and we're all so happy to be involved in it as
Oh
well.
my goodness,
Honestly,
it's been brilliant working with caterer.com, because equally you guys have the same vision that we have.
yeah,
So, you know,
yeah,
so like when we have meetings all together, we all get quite excited and
yeah.
talk about it. But I mean, you produce loads of white papers and reports and everything. So
Mm.
you know, initially, straight away when we started talking to you guys about it, you were all on the same page. You all knew exactly what we wanted to achieve. So to be able to do this together is just brilliant.
I really hope you enjoyed this edition of Recruiting in Hospitality. It's been a brilliant conversation with Claire, and I'm pretty sure in a few months' time I'll be talking to her again. I don't think there's any holding you back, Claire. So it's going to be a great conversation again later on as things progress. If you enjoy Recruiting in Hospitality, why not subscribe if you haven't already? We're on Podbean and iTunes and all wherever you get your podcasts. Just go and subscribe and don't miss an episode. Follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram at caterer.com. It's caterer, DOTCOM. On Twitter as well. We're on Facebook. Follow us on LinkedIn as well. It's been a great conversation. Claire, thank you so much again. It's been such fun talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
It's great. And until next time, I've been Lancelot Narayan. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye bye.